once it did, I just started shooting. And my thought, I just moved forward on him and kept shooting. My thought was to try to get past this doorway.
At what point did you know you hit him?
I knew I hit him the first time, or I thought I hit him the first time, but he just stood there and looked at me. And so I just kept on shooting because he was just standing there like, so I assumed I hit him because I was this close. I was so close. I had shot quite a few times.
Before you fell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a few times.
If you had to guess, how many shots you think you fired?
I don't know, I did all of them that was in there.
You
And
know
I
how
think
many?
it was full,
Do you know how many rounds go in that
I think
particular
6.
weapon? 6.
I'm guessing.
A woman who appeared to be a typical next-door neighbor ultimately killed her own mother. She destroyed the lives of numerous others, including her dearest friend, an innocent man.
Doing okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Get some hot water for myself.
If you needed cold water
No.
or something, just say.
Did you ask him about the film?
What are we talking about?
Is this gonna be filmed? Because I always appear on the news then, from Chris Hayes.
Oh, well, okay, I don't know about Chris Hayes, but in incidents such as this, okay, to protect you, to protect me, we're gonna record it,
Okay.
okay? Just because, that way, you know, it doesn't look like you're hiding anything, it doesn't look like I'm hiding anything.
Okay.
Although this is not Pamela Hupp's narrative, it is hers. She is not deserving of the spotlight, despite her strong desire for it. This is the tale of Shirley Newman, Betsy Faria, and Russ Faria, and how Pamela destroyed their entire existence. Pamela's brutality and lack of regard for other people's lives should be her only reputation.
911, where's your emergency?
Hey, hello, there's someone breaking in my house. Help!
What's
Help!
the address you're at?
Help!
Want me to give you, want me to give your wife?
No, I'm not getting in the car with you. No,
What's
get
your
away.
address?
Get out, get out, get out. Help!
Ma'am, what's the address you're at?
Help! Help!
I had somebody breaking into.
No, no, no.
Hello?
Help! Help!
Although the call was planned, Pamela took another life during it. Louis Gumpenberger, 33, who had suffered a brain injury in 2005 and had since had limited mental competence, was the victim of her murder.
Oh, well, okay, I don't know about Chris Hayes, but in incidents such as this, okay, to protect you, to protect me, we're gonna record it,
Okay.
okay? Just because, that way, you know, it doesn't look like you're hiding anything, it doesn't look like I'm hiding anything.
Okay.
That way I don't misconstrue something you say down the road, you know, like I misinterpret something you said, or I thought you said one thing and you actually said another, so. Okay, so, again, I appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. I know that you wanted to come up here instead of, talking to the scene, which is great. I guess, is there, just out of curiosity, is there a reason why you came up? Is it cooler here or something,
No,
temperature-wise?
the officer said that I'd have to go back to here to
Oh.
repeat everything.
Oh, okay. So.
I didn't want to go anywhere.
The case of Pamela is a great illustration of the three personality qualities known as the dark triad in psychology: psychopathy, melanism, and narcissism. To put it simply, melanism is the willingness to deceive others in order to obtain what one wants.
Well, I appreciate you coming up here with us, okay, and we'll take you home.
I just want to
We
go
can
anywhere
take it out,
but
too.
there.
Anywhere but there?
So that
Fair
was
enough.
fine to come here.
Fair enough.
The detective is interrupted by Pamela. Since she has previously been successful in tricking several police, prosecutors, judges, and juries, this has essentially turned into a pastime for her. Her assurance, her seeming command of the conversation, and the fact that she is aware that her story must be credible from the start demonstrate her mastery of manipulation.
So, Ms. Hupp, I don't know much about you. You keep throwing out these names and stuff like that. So I'm trying to stay on top of all this. But I guess let's start with. I really want to find out what happened today. So I'd like to get a very detailed account of like what happened today. And really, what I'd like to do is, if at all possible, probably start maybe maybe like last night. Let's like work the 24 hours beforehand and work all the way through the incident. Make sure there's nothing that you saw or heard or something that might have happened or something like that. I don't want to miss anything. So let's try to go back like 24 hours or so, maybe yesterday afternoon, lunch,
Okay.
and let's work our way forward.
Yesterday, I went to Best Buy and purchased some items and talked to the general manager there about getting a job for my nephew. Went home, got my nephew, said to bring him up, brought him up there. He talked to him for a little bit. We came back and we filled out some applications online. Went to Taco Bell, had lunch. Then I went home, and then
So what time did you go to Best Buy, did you think? If you had to guess.
well, I was there right when it opened, so I think that's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Because we had to wait in the parking lot a few minutes.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I think it was 10 o'clock.
St. Peter's one?
Yeah, by the mall. Mhm.
Perfect.
And I was there, like I said, came all the way back to Fallon, got my nephew, went back up there, stayed up there a little bit, then we came back, had lunch, I dropped him off. We filled out applications, 3 applications for Best Buy. Instructions he had given us, and then I went home. And then walked my dog, fed him, did all that kind of stuff. My husband came home, I left and I went to Shop and Save at 3:30.
Even though what Pamela did the day before might not seem like much, these seemingly unimportant questions are crucial during an interview. They can assist in establishing the subject's fundamental body language.
I was gonna go back to the mall, so I came home, because I knew I had to let the dog out then. So I came home, let the dog out.
So you went by whose house?
My daughter, who lives
What's her
off
name?
of Sarah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You said she lives off of what?
You take First Capital. I don't want people to say it on TV.
I understand.
She's a teacher, so she don't need that. Off of First Capital. And she wasn't there.
This now clearly shows that Pamela is very aware that she is being filmed and that every response she gives is thoroughly thought out.
I just drove down the street, she wasn't there.
Sure. So you said circle back and went home.
Yeah, I got caught or came back down and went through, just cut through where Lindenwood is. She lives right there. Cut through there and got on the highway and went home.
Okay. And then what?
I got home, opened up the garage, pulled in, got my dog, walked him out in front so he could go pee. And he did his thing. Went back, put him inside, gave him a treat. Came back out, I was gonna run back up to the mall. I was supposed to pick up a purchase that I had from Best Buy, I had to make an appointment. My appointment's Friday, I was gonna run up there, see if I could get it early. So I was gonna run back up there, and as I started pulling out and got halfway out, I noticed as I was backing out that a car came down really fast down the cross street and whipped around right in front of my driveway, because I'm right at the end. Here's the cross street and here's my driveway. So they came out and did this right in front of my driveway, and I looked up because it was so fast and startling, and somebody jumped out, and I was like, wow, I don't know what I thought, if somebody was hurt, I don't know what was going on. It was so fast. And then he ran up, I was halfway out the drive where I was parked, and he jumped in my car. He opened up the door and jumped in my car.
Which door?
The passenger.
Front or back?
Oh, front.
Or passenger front? Go ahead.
And he had a bunch of stuff in his hands. I don't know what he had, but he had a knife also, but he had something in his other arm. I don't know what he had. And he put a knife and kept going, just yelling random stuff like, you're going to take me to the bank and get Russ's money.
To better comprehend Russ, let's give you some background information. Betsy Furia, who was fighting breast cancer, was a friend of Pamela's. Pamela was in charge of taking Betsy to and from her doctor's appointment. Actually, Betsy's life insurance policy had designated Pamela as the only recipient of $150,000, only 4 days after the policy was changed. Russ Faria discovered his wife Betsy dead in their house on December 27, 2011. Russ was given a life sentence on November 21, 2013. Despite having a strong alibi, a man found guilty of stabbing his wife 55 times faces life in jail without the possibility of parole. In order to persuade a jury to hear suppressed material that was made public by the Fox Files, Russ Faria is already attempting to appeal the case. Russ was allowed a second trial because of the insurance money from bets and the discrepancies in Pamela's account, and on November 6, 2015, he was ultimately found not guilty. She was not prepared to forfeit the money or face consequences for her misdeeds, even if the law was finally catching up with her. 16, 2016, Pamela called 911 in an attempt to distract the police and accuse Russ of committing yet another crime.
Take me to the bank, you're gonna take me to the bank. He put a knife up to my throat there and was yelling stuff. And he kept looking behind him like this. So I put it in gear and I was thinking how I was gonna get out of there when he was looking. And he kept yelling, coming back, and then he looked back again, and I hit his arm with the knife and then shot out of the car and ran inside.
Okay, so you were, I just want to make sure I understand. So you'd already been home, fed the dog, gave him a treat, and you were getting ready to leave. So when you got home, did you leave the car in the driveway, or did you pull in the garage?
I was in the garage.
Okay, so you pulled the car all the way in.
Yes.
And then you got out and you tended to the dog.
No, I did not pull it in the garage. I always pull it in the garage when I'm going to stay. But no, I stayed right there because I was leaving.
Okay,
So
so
right where it was.
so where-
it was
where
still
it was-
running. Yeah,
okay.
I just ran in to let him out.
okay, so you were only in the house just a couple
I was
minutes
just-
more.
Oh, not even a couple minutes, just enough to put his leash on. I brought him out, walked him, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All that kind of.
It's obvious that this is not how anyone reacts when they are ambushed and attacked, even if we remain open-minded in our evaluation of her. Would you respond this way if you had just shot someone? Repentance comes second. The entire encounter doesn't seem to have scared, perplexed, or particularly astonished Pamela. Furthermore, it's actually extremely clever to wait for a response before answering or to respond with blah, 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 etc. Since Pamela doesn't even explicitly respond to the inquiries, it appears that she is unconcerned about that. Rather, her response is ambiguous and could signify several things.
The garage, big one was open, I ran through the garage door.
Okay, so then kind of rush through that. I just want to make sure I understand. So you went in, you let the dog out, you gave him a treat, you're ready to leave again. So you come back out of the house. How did you exit the house? How?
Out the same door.
Same door? Okay.
Yeah, I let him in the same door because the front door was locked.
Okay.
So I was coming in, I come in and out that door. Came out that door, got back in the car.
Okay.
To go again.
Okay.
And that's when the car shot around and somebody jumped out. Before I knew it, they were sitting next to me.
Okay, so let's first describe the car. Can you give a description of the vehicle?
Well, I wasn't really paying attention to the vehicle, more of the shriekness of their tires that they did. It was just a silver, wasn't as small as like a little Toyota, a little bit bigger, but not a big one sedan. It was 4 doors.
So 4-door,
Mhm.
did you say mid-size? Is that?
Yeah, probably mid-size. Wasn't brand new.
I mean, as you reflect back, do you remember anything specific about, other than being silver, being 4 doors, anything on it? You said it wasn't that new.
No,
Anything
it
else?
wasn't like shiny, like you could tell it was, like, my crash had just hit a 2004 Honda, kind of like older like that, you know, not that it was a piece of crap or anything, but it was, yeah,
It was a veteran car.
yeah, grocery getter. And it was getting weird, and it was like, because they tore around, and he popped out, and I'm like, my first thought was, did I know him? Because they did it so fast, but then I was like, and I looked back down, and next thing I knew, he was there, so.
Okay, so as I was up there for a few minutes, and I noticed that there was an orange car parked on the street.
That's my next door neighbor's, it's
Okay, it's
broke
your
down.
neighbor's car. Okay,
Mhm.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know where that
It's
came from.
broke down.
Okay.
It's been there a while.
So, I'm trying to remember how your street is. Which way did so if you're sitting in your car pointed at the garage, which way did this car come from?
Right here, the right side, that little street there. I don't know what it's called.
So the street behind you.
Behind me, yes.
Because the way I probably have you draw it out later, but, so the street behind you. I know what you're talking about. I remember being there.
It's directly behind my neighbor's driveway,
Okay.
and I'm one over. So I could see them whip around, come out of there. And all they did was come right around, right to my house.
Okay. So he jumps out of the car, he jumps into the passenger front side of your car.
Mhm.
And
Where does he jump out of the silver car from?
I don't know, they asked me that. I really wasn't paying attention. I want to say the back seat, but that may not be true.
She remembers a lot of small details for something that never happened. In an attempt to give the investigators a picture and sound more credible, her hands are constantly working. She avoids being constrained by her own reactions by not providing a firm response. She has the foresight to consider all of her alternatives.
Were there other people in the vehicle?
There was all I saw was a driver, because he squealed away, so I was like, what the hell? And he looked.
What was the most distinctive thing about the driver that you remember?
Dark hair, was kind of like a buzz cut, and dark skin, like Hispanic, maybe, something like that. What crosses my mind, I don't know, it could be anybody. I don't know if they were Hispanic, but that's what crossed my mind.
okay, so you got somewhat of a look at the driver.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guy squealed away
Mhm.
before he, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. At what point did he get out? Did he squeal away?
Well,
In comparison to what the other guy was doing.
right. As soon as he pulled around, and I wasn't looking again, I looked back down to to get ready to go and stuff. And pulled around, and I looked up again. The guy had shot out. When he pulled around, the guy shot out, and I looked down again.
Even when she is becoming monotonous and nearly stumbles, her manipulative side keeps her confidence intact.
Kind of strange. I don't even know if I thought it was strange, but it was weird. And so I looked up again as he was getting out, and he squealed right off. The guy squealed right off. Like,
So, what if anything did he say?
he said, "You're going to take me to the bank and get Russ's money. We're going now, so get going," type stuff. And he just kept yelling stuff like that at me. And so at this time, I don't have it in gear or anything, or I do have it. No, I don't have it in gear. And I had put it in gear to go because I didn't know what to do. And then that's when I noticed he was looking back. I don't know if he was looking, because cars, I don't know what he was looking at, but he kept looking back, and I noticed that, so I put it back into gear, and he said, "Get going right now, we're going to the bank." And then he looked back again like this, and I hit his arm, and I shot out of the car.
So when you say I put it back into gear, you mean you put it back in park? Okay.
So,
My plan was to get out of the car somehow.
Now you will watch her describe the victim and notice how detailed she is.
And now, forgive me, I did not go in the scene. I've not been in the scene.
Okay.
So is he a white male, black male,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hispanic male?
He's white male.
White male.
He was taller than me. He had blue gym shorts on, and some sort of t-shirt, and sandy blonde hair, and I want to say his eyes were blue, but I'm not sure. It's not like they were like a bright blue or anything like that, noticeable. But I want to say they were light colored eyes. They weren't brown.
Okay.
I don't think. I could be wrong. I really wasn't looking at his face.
notice anything, any smells?
He didn't smell. The only thing I noticed is he's yelling and getting more and more upset. He was slurring his words. I thought he was drunk. I didn't smell anything at all. But he did have, I don't know what he had with him, but he kept, like the more he kept repeating himself, he was getting all excited, and he was, I thought he was drunk. or on drugs or something like that because I couldn't understand him half the time.
Right.
He was yelling crap, I couldn't even understand.
You will now observe her level of detail as she describes the victim. Even when your alleged attacker was a living person, how can you not cry or be astonished that you just killed a real person? Who can detect the scent of your attacker? Pamela appears to be unaffected by the fact that persons who kill in self-defense are disturbed by the act of killing, and some even live with PTSD for the rest of their lives. The second facet of the dark triad is psychopathy, which is typified by impulsivity, a lack of empathy, and a disrespect for morals and social conventions.
And he was, I thought he was drunk or on drugs or something like that because I couldn't understand him half the time.
Right.
He was yelling crap, I couldn't even understand.
This appears to be Pamela Hubb's most prominent feature. She not only killed a great number of people, but she also framed others, lied about it, and deceived the police. She also done some really odd things in addition to this. Numerous keys were recovered in the automobiles in Pam's neighborhood and place of employment. Animal carcasses and odd scribbled notes were sent to her neighbors' homes.
I didn't notice like greasy hair, like a homeless person or anything like that.
Okay.
He just looked like a normal person to
Okay.
me. I mean, he wasn't clean cut like you guys, like you're groomed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it begs the question, I don't know that, we just asked you straight, have you ever seen this guy before?
No.
Don't know him? He doesn't look like somebody you've seen somewhere before with somebody else. I mean, as you remember back, as you picture him in your mind, there is, you cannot make any link between this guy and you.
No. I mean, I wasn't looking directly at his face. I was trying not to look at him. I do know when he did get in, there was something familiar about him, but I don't know him. So I don't know I don't know. He seemed familiar, like I should know him, but I do not know him.
And forgive me if Kevin asked this. Did he have, I know you say he's a Caucasian male,
Mhm.
but did he have any type of accent that was noticeable to you?
I didn't know because he was bumbling, slurring, and at first I didn't really notice anything. But like I said, he was getting so excited and stuff. As he was yelling at me, I mean, it was like he was drunk. I mean, he was I literally, like his tongue was this thick. I didn't know what was going on. I figured he was on something, alcohol or something. I didn't know. I knew something was not right because as he was getting excited, it was getting worse. But he said one phrase inside made no sense. He said, I think he said it out in the garage or out in the car too. Something about killing my wife. Something, and I'm like, I mean, I didn't say anything, but it was weird.
Pamela is making every effort to attribute this staged attack to Russ. Russ's wife, Betsy, can readily be linked to his wife's murder.
He was yammering stuff again about killing me. Again, my focus was to get in the house. I knew I had my phone in my pocket. I was trying to dial 911. I think I did it 3 times before it went through on my cell phone. By then I was inside, and he was trying to get the door. I was trying to hold the door. I couldn't get it locked then, and I was trying to get 911 on the phone. And he was saying stuff, and then the door flew open. He got in, it flew open, and I ran into the bedroom. He was yelling stuff, and as I was going in the bedroom, something again about killing my wife, him and Stevie. Me and Stevie, you're gonna kill your wife. And so I don't know who that is. I don't know a Steven or a Stevie or Steve. I don't know what he was talking about. He was so blah. It was really hard. It's like his sentences weren't formed by then.
Mm-hmm.
And so none of it made any sense, but he did keep saying, get in the car. I ran in the bedroom. I tried to, I shut that door. I was trying to get it locked, wouldn't latch, got a problem with the door. And I got my gun, turned around, got my gun, nightstand right there, and he was pounding on the door. And once it flew open, that's when I shot him. And I just kept shooting him because he just kept standing there.
How many times did you say you pulled the
I
trigger?
unloaded the whole gun.
So you
It
pulled the
was
trigger until
nonstop.
it stopped
I
firing.
just kept pulling till it stopped. Because everybody kept saying that's a little gun and blah, 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 and gotta reclose. So once that door opened and he was there, I just started shooting and walking towards him until I didn't have him more.
Russ's wife, Betsy, can readily be linked to his wife's murder. She fabricates a story to say that she shot Lewis in self-defense, yet you'll notice that she always gets a lengthy sentence. She usually rests her cheek on her hand after letting the seriousness of her remarks sink in. Unless she is accustomed to witnessing blood on dead people.
Let me get, you know what, I'm gonna step out for a second, get some white pieces of paper,
Okay.
and I'll be right back, so
Okay.
sit right with me.
Should I tell him or just wait?
Yeah,
Just hold on, let me get just
Maybe
paper.
a
and I'll be
good
right
piece of paper. It's easier to visualize it if we're seeing it actually drawn. You good on water?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of gun? What type of gun do you own? I mean, do you own? Was it a nightstand? You said it was a little gun. I didn't
I
know.
want to say a 32. Is that a gun? It's got a,
Maybe a 380.
well, maybe that's it. I just got it for Christmas last year.
Okay.
After the one gal stalked me, I got it. That's what I got for a Christmas present.
She sits there as if nothing significant is happening. This is frequently not how a typical individual who has just killed a man would behave. She appears to be discussing a murder mystery series. Although manipulators and liars are skilled with words and stories, we must also recognize that Pamela appears to be a fervent narcissist, which completes the final aspect of the dark. She has not witnessed an occurrence that occurred directly in front of her eyes. An exaggerated self-image that craves continuous attention and even takes advantage of others to further one's objectives is known as triad narcissism.
Did you have a sexual relationship with Betsy Faria?
On what basis? What's natural to you?
Did you ever tell law enforcement officials that you and Betsy were having a sexual relationship?
I did.
She had a mad crush on me. She really, really, really loved me at that time. And it just kept growing from that.
It's interesting to observe that her false sense of confidence and self-worth limits her perceptions. For instance, if we were lying about this situation, we would likely act scared and concerned that someone is pursuing our lives, pretend to feel regret for killing a man, and then act as though we didn't enjoy it. However, Pamela is unable to even consider these fundamental ideas.
So that's your first time. I guess your fingers aren't working.
No, they weren't.
Just couldn't get through to 911 though.
It wouldn't go through. I mean, get my phone.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because do you mind if we take a look at your phone and see? Because I would love to see what the 911
Well,
call.
bring it in here because I'd like to see too.
Well, it's out on the desk, but we'll.
Yeah. I would see how many times I dialed it.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I just wanted to.
I would say a couple times. I
Okay.
dialed it trying to get through. I could see it wasn't going through. I couldn't hear anybody, so I would just hang up, try again, and he's bumping me on the door and stuff. So then he just was, once I got them, I was focused on that and he pushed it open. I don't remember, all I remember, and just kind of blanked out there, is that once that door flew open, because I was so hoping it wouldn't, once it did, I just started shooting. And my thought, I just moved forward on him and kept shooting. My thought was to try to get past this doorway.
At what point did you know you hit him?
I knew I hit him the first time, or I thought I hit him the first time, but he just stood there and looked at me. And so I just kept on shooting because he was just standing there like, so I assumed I hit him because I was this close. I was so close.
So you're legitimately.
I'm walking at him.
So the first time you shot him, would you say you're further than this away from him? Me and you?
Maybe this far.
So,
Maybe
okay.
from here to you.
And the door opens out? The door
It opens into the bedroom.
Okay, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I was coming in your bedroom, it would open this way or this way?
Towards me, yes. So I'm standing here and in one of these positions here in front of the door, it swings open. I'm standing there, I'm ready.
Okay.
And it swings open and we're just eye to eye and I just start shooting and walking forward because my first thought was to get past this door jam.
Okay.
Didn't even think about I'm shooting him, hitting him. Wasn't thinking about that. I knew I had to get around this person and get back out somehow.
At what point did he fall? Do you remember?
I had shot quite a few times.
Before he fell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a few times.
If you had to guess, how many shots you think you fired?
I I don't know, I did all of them that was in there.
You
And
know
I
how
think
many-
it was full,
Do you know how many rounds go in that
I think
particular
6.
weapon? 6.
I'm guessing.
By asking questions repeatedly, the interrogators are using a strategy known as the questions and answers approach. Investigators may find discrepancies in her responses, but Pamela has previously engaged in this type of interrogation and escaped punishment, so she is aware of her actions. It cannot be verified that she is indeed guilty.
And when you stepped over him, he wasn't moving. Did you make any observations of him when you stepped over him?
No, I was worried about getting my dog and getting out of there. All I knew is he was down and he wasn't moving as far as I could tell or saying anything. So that was good for me at that point.
Do you know where you hit him? I mean, did you take aim
No,
at
I
a
was
particular
going
body
right
part?
here. I was going right for the mass.
Okay.
I know I'm not good enough shot to shoot you in the head because that was too.
When's the last time you went to the range before this?
I've never been to the range.
Or I'm sorry, you and your husband go out shooting, you said?
Yeah,
When's the
that was
last-
last fall.
So about a year ago almost, quite shot,
Yeah.
just shy of a year?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's the first time
I
you
grew
shot?
up shooting. No, I grew up shooting.
No, was that the first time you shot that gun?
Yes.
But even now, despite her dispassionate and almost joyful demeanor, the use of phrases like, I don't know, I don't recall, maybe can't swear by it, are keeping her safe.
Here's another question for you I have, because it's unusual, here's what I say, without some type of tactical training or military training, law enforcement training, is to fire and then approach the target. Where'd you learn that? Or is that? I mean,
I
what,
did it.
what reason I ask is, I mean, when you and your husband go out, does he, besides the shooting, do you guys work on tactical movements or something like that? You,
We just shoot at the target on a tree.
okay.
Because my thought was to get the hell out of that room is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be pinned in that small space because my room's really small because there just was no way to get out. If he got in, I wasn't getting out. So to walk forward at him partially was I wanted to get out of that room and partially was I wanted to be sure I hit him.
And he was not advancing at that point. You
Well,
were.
I was advancing.
Yes, but he
Yeah.
was.
No, well, he had just knocked the door open and I started shooting.
Okay.
And I'm walking as I'm shooting.
All right.
So, because as soon as that happened and I shot, he just, nothing. So I didn't even think I hit him because he just stood there then. And I just kept shooting and then when my dog was running all over the place. And
At this point, the investigators delve deeply into Pamela and Russ's past relationship.
Okay. I'm trying to think of all any more details here. Go ahead.
Obviously, there's some history with past things, and that's why they said they wanted Russ's money, correct? They said something about Russ going to the bank. Kind of got to dig in a little bit.
he said it's
Oh, the
one
financial
point the
aspect.
money that I stole from Russ. At one point in the car, because he kept saying, we're going to the bank, you're getting Russ's money. And I'm like, get out of my car, who are you, what are you talking about? At first, I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. And at one point, he had said the money you stole from Russ.
When I stepped out, you guys discussed that, okay?
No, I mean,
I think I told
Yeah,
one of the other officers.
Okay.
He had said that at some point, and still, it didn't click with me. I was just worried about getting out of there and then what the hell. The guy was so thick-tongued that even when he said stuff, it took, with everything going on and how he was talking, a second for like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It just was so mumble-jumble, it didn't make sense. Some of them weren't complete sentences. It was frightening.
Not to get too personal here, but can you kind of fill us in on the financial aspect of the FRIA stuff and where all that stands now?
She had signed over me as beneficiary, and I was paid out.
How much?
$150,000.
Okay,
And I still have that $150,000.
okay.
And that's known to people that I still had the $150,000 because broadcasted that. Because at one point when I was talking to prosecutors up in Lincoln County, she kept going, "Do you have that money? Can I see your account?" You know, whatever. And I just brought it up to her in cash and gave it to her. And so when I was at trial for it,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was the judge asking for that, or the
No.
prosecutor?
prosecutor. She
Prosecutor
was
asked-
asking to see if I still had, she
Okay.
goes, "Do you still have the money?"
Okay.
I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, can you show me that you still have it?"
Okay.
Whatever.
So you
This
brought it up
is-
and showed her.
And I did. And I
Okay.
brought up a bag and I gave it to her. And it had cash in it.
Leah and Maria Day, Betsy Faria's daughters, sued Pamela in 2014 for $150,000 in life insurance proceeds. Despite their best efforts, Pamela, the murderer of their mother, won the case. Pamela is attempting to carefully direct the conversation throughout the interview so that the detectives will wonder about Russ's involvement in the entire situation and how she was being kind.
She goes, "Well, I want to change my beneficiary to you. Well, I want my kids to have it. I don't want Russ to have it."
If Betsy thought she didn't have anything else in the world, she would want me to have whatever she had. In her view, I was rich. In her eyes. She'd always tell me I was rich. She thought I was rich. She wished she was rich like me. I wasn't rich.
Just got out.
So he had just been released when you went back to trial for the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he knew the cash story.
Okay.
And he knew, because he was sitting behind us at the trial, that I still had the money.
Okay.
And right after that, the place, I don't think he knows this, but the place where I had my hair done, him and his cousin went there and confronted a hairdresser there.
Was this on film?
Yeah, and the police were called and
I remember
everybody.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because somebody wrote something on Facebook. That's how violent he is. And they came and were screaming at this poor girl because they didn't like what she wrote. And I know there was a gun involved with the owner. Everybody was getting that worked up and stuff. The police were called. I don't know what happened to it.
When's the last time, have you ever had any conversations through any medium, social media, phone, in person with Russ?
At the girls' trial in January, he was there and he's just kept lurking around and all that. And we kind of ran into each other going to the bathroom and stuff on a break. And I said to him, "Oh, congratulations on your release." I'm not say to him, I was just being nice. And he said, "Oh, thanks." And that was it. And turned around and walked away. He had like his cousin with him, just his cousin, the same cousin that confronted this hairdresser. So that's the last time I've seen him, and we didn't really speak. We just said that.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's pause to discuss Russ, whose wife, who was already ill, was brutally killed by a person he knew. Pamela committed the murder, and the killer herself set him up for her demise. Imagine the anguish and sorrow that will follow his release from prison. Even though Pamela was the reason he was in jail in the first place, she texts him to congratulate him on getting out. It's an obvious indication of narcissism, which requires continual attention and approval. Because Pamela has a psychopathic side to her personality, she could be dismissive or unconcerned with the feelings of people around her.
When you knocked the gun out, or the knife, do you know, did it fall out of his hand or did it stay in his hand?
I hit it as hard as I could, or I hit him, and I think it fell. In my mind, it fell.
Okay.
Didn't stop to look. I, at the same time, opened the door and just ran out.
I know we just talked at length about what happened today.
I just did one of those
Where?
in the ambulance.
Okay. Was it as detailed as what we've just discussed here?
I think so, yeah.
You think so? Okay. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna go track it down.
Okay.
I want to read through it and maybe might have you come back and clarify some things for me if the statement wasn't too terribly clear. Okay. You said you haven't eaten any lunch or anything. Are you hungry or you're okay? Okay. Is your water okay for now?
No soda?
You good? Okay. Give us a few minutes and we'll be back. Okay.
She even takes pleasure in the suffering of others. According to the Reed technique, Pamela is left alone in the room for a while. Investigators can use this to talk about potential future plans for Pamela's case or to help her restore emotional control following a lengthy questioning session. Nonetheless, they might have taken this action to verify the veracity of her claims regarding the Russ Faria case. These pauses also increase the subject's stress level. In this instance, see how the investigator must maintain her interest to prevent her from requesting legal representation.
What are you doing? I'm gonna go to the restroom real fast, and then I'll be right back. You good? Anything I can get you? While I step out for a
I'm
second?
supposed to be getting my husband.
Yeah, I think
Should
Detective Wolf was gonna go down, or Sergeant Wolf was gonna go down there and talk
Can
to
I
him.
call my lawyer?
Yeah.
Do I need my lawyer up here?
Do you?
Well, how long am I gonna be up here?
You're up here voluntarily.
No, I know, but
We're not holding you.
no, I know, but how
Okay.
long they're gonna kill me if I don't have one, just because of everything that's been going on. Should I call them, or are we gonna be here much longer?
Okay, you are here. You are here of your own free will. Okay,
Okay.
you have to make those decisions for yourself. I
Okay.
can't.
Well, I
tell
didn't know
what
what you
do.
guys needed.
No, let me tell you what we still have left to do. Okay, in this incident, we need to make sure that we can separate your DNA from his DNA. So what we'll do is once we get a search warrant and all that stuff at the house, we'll swab him for DNA, and then they'll do swabs in the house and that kind of thing to make sure that he wasn't inside your house somewhere else or doing something they should have been doing. On the flip side, we also get your DNA because we want to make sure that we don't confuse, that we know whose DNA is in the house. Okay, so we were going to do that. 2, we were going to. What else? Oh, we're going to take photographs. We were going to have a county ID come up and take photographs of you, just showing your injuries or lack thereof, or just to show in case tomorrow some bruising appears, we can document the stages of whatever happens going forward. Okay, and then 3, so I'm gonna get some forms for the consent for the DNA for a swab, and the swab it's like a Q-tip rubbed inside the cheek. I put it in a box, seal it away. I do one on each side of the cheek, and then it gets to the lab. And his DNA will be sent to the lab. Your DNA will be sent to the lab, and then any swabs we take from the vehicle, showing that his DNA was on the knife. Those types of things. And so we just want to make sure that we have all that done, okay? And then, what else am I missing? Oh, the phone. Your phone, if he has a phone on him, we'll do a search warrant on his phone and see who he's been talking to, who's been contacting him. With your consent, we would like to glance to your phone. Just make sure that you weren't getting any calls or, there isn't anything going on your end of the phone. That helps us clear you. Making sure that you don't know this guy and this guy doesn't know you and those types of things. So those are just steps that we have to take in the investigation, okay? Another thing I wanted to ask you was, I guess your husband told the officers of a subject who was sitting on the sewer yesterday, maybe? Thought a subject was sitting on the sewer, not doing much of anything. At some point, I don't know if the guy knew that your husband was there or in the area or whatever, but he just kind of stood up, he never looked back, and he walked away. So I guess my question for you is, do you recall recent hours, days, weeks of anything that's occurred around your house?
There happened, me and my husband were leaving our house, I guess it's been a month ago, and there was, and I couldn't even tell you, it was a light colored vehicle. I wasn't really paying attention. I did notice the person in it. Like I couldn't describe him, but it was the same person. And I said to my husband, I go, that car, what is that car keeps, I think that car's casing me, is what I said. And he blew it off as a joke. But I kept seeing it like a couple of days in a row. It was parked and then it would just drive off. Okay. And I said that to him. That's been about a month ago.
Okay, so nothing for the last month? Okay, and then you didn't see this guy sitting on the sewer?
No.
You didn't see anybody else creeping around the house or anything like that? Okay. Again, Sergeant Wolf is down there talking to your husband right now. Like I said, you're here voluntarily to talk to us to help us get through this, okay? We're not holding you here. But the way I look at it is you're helping me. So.
After reading the statement to her, the detectives collect DNA samples from her. She appears to believe that her charm is having an effect on the police as she begins to joke around. She is unable to recognize that she is a blatantly remorseless psychopath because of her narcissistic tendencies.
So did that sound
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean, pretty much, I read that, I tried to read that word for word. I mean,
No, that is, I mean, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't as detailed probably as you
as we talked
pulling
about
stuff
earlier.
out of me, but
Well, we also went back
yeah.
to yesterday, so. Okay, so right now, I think the one thing that we would be waiting on is to have somebody come up here and take photographs of you. If you want to walk around or do whatever, you're free to do so. I mean, we would like you to hang around just so we could get that, get that done. And if there's anything that comes up, but once we get in the house, we might have additional questions. I don't know. So, I mean, we'd like you to hang around.
How are you gonna call me if I don't have my phone?
Well, where are you gonna go?
I don't know yet.
Will you probably be with your husband?
Yeah.
How about you call your husband?
He gets it left.
Do we have his phone number?
You're just smart aleck one, aren't you?
No.
I'm playing. You always look like you're goofing. Yes, I'll probably be with him.
Need another water? It's
If
cold.
it's closed, I mean,
It's right
don't
here.
go, okay, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And I'm just messing with you, because you always look like you're kidding around.
I only look like I was kidding around that one time there, right?
Just the once.
All right.
She spent a considerable amount of time chatting with a detective, discussing the beauty of the effort involved in running a house-flipping business. The fact that there was a dead man laying cold in her own home was not even mentioned in her chats because they were so casual and uncaring. She then begins about her deceased mother.
But I'll say this, I appreciate you coming up here today and being as open with us as you have. I know there's other things you'd rather be doing today, but I appreciate it.
Not really, I actually feel safer up here.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do when I was in the driveway and stuff, like safe-wise. Because I kept thinking, she kept saying they're coming, they're on their way, and I kept thinking you were going around the corner, and it never happened. So I didn't know what to do, and then once they put me in the ambulance, I felt a lot better.
Okay, good. And then the ambulance people treat you all right.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They're nice.
The policemen were nice, and everybody was nice. It just, I feel bad when I talk, I'm so scrambled because I can't help it.
What's up? What's up?
My whole family's here. We came back when my father died to help my mother. And we've been here ever since. That was in 2000 he died. So we've been back ever since to help her. But let me think about it after this.
Well, I was just curious.
What would you do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't know. If this is home, I don't know.
It doesn't really feel like it right now.
Basically, your mom still lives in the area?
My mom died.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She died.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it gets better. She died 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in October, and Chris Hayes posted stuff that I killed her because she was the one who fell off the balcony in Fenton. The thing broke down the spindles and she fell. He tripped and went through it. He posted.
The way that people with dark triad qualities view and engage with the social world is the main emphasis of the social cognitive perspective of the dark triad personality. It implies that folks who display certain characteristics might have picked up exploitative or manipulative tendencies through social interactions or a lack of emotional attachment to caretakers. Pamela did not have a difficult upbringing. She didn't appear to get along well with her parents.
2 months ago, my mom got in an accident and we had to put her in a home. I really hate to say it, wanted money. My mom's worth $500,000 that I get when she dies. My mom is dementia and doesn't half the time know who we are.
Right.
Has been living alone in a condo. And I know that sounds really morbid and stuff like that, but I am a life insurance person. But if I really wanted money, there was an easier way than trying to combat somebody that's physically stronger than me. I'm just saying.
Psychopaths believe they are better than others, which may be why Pamela was able to target sick and ill people. Betsy had cancer. Her mother, Shirley Newman, had Alzheimer's, and Louis Gumpberger suffered a vehicle accident that left him with limited mental function. She pretended to be a caregiver for the weak and ill in order to later hurt them. Because of her initial gesture of caring, it was difficult to mistrust or question her behavior.
People alone. I just don't get it, you know? I just don't get why these people keep coming at me. That's why when I got that money, I never did anything with it. It was like cursed. It's like I don't have anything to do with it. Everybody wants it.
Everyone likes money.
Ain't that much, really? To be crazy.
150,000? Not really.
It's not. Not in this day and age.
No.
I just had to buy a new car and it was $30,000 like that.
I know.
150 don't buy you squat.
No. I mean, obviously it's a good chunk of change. It is a good chunk of money, but
If someone gave me to, it's great. It's nice. But like I said,
it's not.
mine's still sitting in the bank.
I'm not retiring and stopping work because I got 150,000.
Oh, hell no.
That's what my point is.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
couldn't even pay off my house.
It's not life-changing money.
Right. Can't even pay off my house. So, but I guess to some people, they want it. And I guess I was stupid at the beginning because at the beginning it was like, no, it's not what she wanted to do, or she would have done something different. You're not getting it. And I dug my heels. I was probably stupid. I should have just gave it away and put the problem on someone else.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but
I just know people's greed.
a lot of people are greedy people. That's for sure.
I don't even know if it's greed. It's like they deserve it. Like it's entitlement. That entitlement, like her daughters wanted it. And I get that. I get it. But you know, she had that policy for 15 years. They were never once on it. She's changed it a couple times, but never to them, and would never. And Russ was the last one on it. But she's changing that because she was leaving him.
She, like I said, I haven't followed that case too much, but she not have a good relationship with her daughters or something? No.
She loved her daughters, but they were, one was in and out of youth in need and that kind of stuff.
Wouldn't be good with the money.
No, the one was in youth in need.
Yeah,
She got to get a settlement, $36,000. Gone. You ask them why? You think you buy a car as a young girl? Nothing. Partying, drugs, booze, that kind of stuff. They're the kind of girls that, when my friend was dying of cancer, that if she didn't give them what they wanted, it would be nothing to say. You're such a bitch, you know those kind of kids?
Right.
Bitch.
Yeah, that's okay.
Never said that to her mom.
No, you should.
First, she would have killed me.
Right.
Second, you just didn't.
Right. Yeah, I would.
But that was common.
Did you talk to anybody? Maybe you didn't like stop and get out of your car necessarily, but did you make any contact with anybody? Did you get gas at a gas station?
Just that morning at
What?
Conoco.
Okay, so you got gas at the Conoco.
Yeah, and then I got my soda.
Okay,
Yeah.
with your soda.
Because
Okay.
I talked to the gal at the counter because I see her every day.
Okay. Didn't stop and talk to anybody else? Okay. I think that's it. I was just trying to make sure we knew kind of, if we could narrow it down, just so we could show that, you know, you're a Conoco 915, you're a,
Yeah.
you know, what's that? So. Okay.
You need a water or anything? I don't
No,
know.
Thank you.
Oh, that's yours? Okay.
We're working on getting those closed.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as we can get, oh, we got closed. How about that? I didn't see your point. So, Ms. Hupp,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go get Officer Club again, and then we're probably gonna have you go in that other room and change out of your clothes. She's gonna seize those clothes, okay? And we have your jeans. We got jeans and a shirt for you. So we got clothes for you. So just hang tight, okay? I'll go get Officer Club.
We can find out. Have you ever been arrested before? traffic offense, traffic warrant, DWI or anything? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Never been arrested.
Okay. The reason I asked, we might get your fingerprints, just as we're doing our investigation, and if somebody's in your house, elimination prints to kind of separate who's who. Cool.
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The cops found $900 in Lewis's pocket, along with a note that discussed kidnapping Pamela and stealing money. She had enticed Lewis to her home, shot him, and left phony evidence, the detectives discovered. 6 days before she killed Lewis, she also attempted to kidnap Carol McAfee. Pamela was charged with Louis Gumpenberger's murder on August 23, 2016. Pamela Hupp entered an Alfred in which she maintained her innocence while acknowledging that the authorities had sufficient evidence to indict her. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on August 12, 2019. Ultimately, she was charged with Betsy Faria's murder on July 12, 2021.